And hi guys, welcome back here at the Garena Premier League 2016 Summer. We are now on the semi-finals. This is our coverage of the said event for the Garena Philippines esports stream, and we are your shoutcasters. I am Shinbu with the one for Ana, and with me is gonna be your analyst, Coach Arctic of Organs, the League of Filipinas. So let's go. Let's proceed to Game 2 of this best of 5 series between Kuala Lumpur Hunters versus Bangkok Titans. Have you watched Game 1?
Oh yes, that was pretty explosive, and I'm really looking to see if the momentum will continue, or it'll kind of go on equal ground here. So let's go.
Yes.
See what'll happen.
So what about your insights on the picks that has already rolled out on this one?
Okay, well, first for the picks, so very standard once again.
Yeah.
The Gragas, the Karma, the Nar. We have been seeing that a lot in the Garena Premier League, and for the Kuala Lumpurs, we have the Echo, the Tom Kench. Tom Kench was pretty good in that.
Yeah.
I'd say. And the Hecarim engine as well. I'd say that, we've been seeing somewhat of a meta here in the Garena Premier League. I'd say that for AD carry, that Jin has been an absolute beast.
Yeah.
I'm such a fan of that Jin going into those games so
No
far.
bans being given onto Kog'Maw here.
Interesting.
Yeah. Lloyd has played a Kog'Maw 8-0 on that game 1. Though I'd say the Bangkok Titans, given that they are now sitting on blue side, they're prioritizing picking that Gragas, denying that onto Sek. As you observe how Sek was able to properly bring back control of that mid lane after that blunder with G4 from that early gun from GPL. Sek has done a good job with that Gragas.
Exactly, and I feel like the Gragas, he's such a well-rounded champion. You can really bring on the somewhat of the pressure early game, and then you also have the disengage tool. So I feel like he's such a well-rounded champion, which is why I definitely understand this being a priority pick. And
Wow.
there we go.
Donning a Malzahar. What are your insights on Malzahar?
I'm really a fan of the Malzahar, being one of the mages that has been updated in the previous patches back during the mage update, actually.
Yeah,
So,
mid-season. Yes.
very interesting. I feel like Ozora Veki is going to have a very interesting time going up against that Malzahar, with the passive up, and then it's going to be releasing a huge torrent of Void Lane.
Yeah.
So that's going to be interesting to see how that'll play out in the mid lane.
I'm not even going to see any scene that in this game. Rather, Ozora Becky will be donning that Karma. So it's gonna be more of a damage dealer Karma. I find Karma entering this part really strong.
Oh, yeah.
She's actually now my priority ban. Previously it was Hecarim, but this time I'm rolling more on Karma. Karma is very entertaining.
Yes,
She puts a lot of
exactly.
pressure on the lane and in team fights.
I feel like somewhat same as the Garda. She's also a well-rounded champion. She deals an insane amount of damage. She could go 1v1 with the heal that she has from the amplified W, and she also brings on quite the utility with the shields, with the movement speed if needed going into those clashes right there. So we'll see how this all plays out.
Yes,
Very
we'll see. To our viewers out there, a big shout out to you, and thank you so much for passing by our stream. Why not do us a favor? Why not share the stream link? And all together, all of us summoners, let us witness amazing League of Legends action fresh from the best of Southeast Asian region.
Oh yes, I'm just having chills right now, and it has nothing to do with the cold weather. This is it. This is the playoffs.
Yeah.
We're seeing all 4 teams just really wanting at that shot to make it to the wild card. And if I were in that position, I'd definitely go on just as
Bangkok
much
is
as
from
they are.
what country?
Bangkok?
Yeah.
They are from Thailand. There
Thailand,
we go.
Bangkok. Whereas Kuala Lumpur would be Malaysia.
Correct.
Yes, so, big shout outs to our Malaysian viewers. And of course, from those who hails from Thailand, we are now live in the Summoner's Reef. This is Game 2 in the best of 5 series between Kuala Lumpur Hunters versus Bangkok Titans as part of the Garena Premier League 2016 Summer Semi-Finals.
Yes.
So, let's go for the champion rundown. In the top lane, it's gonna be, or rather on the blue side, we have Kuala Lumpur Hunters. In the top lane, you have 13 Ghosts on that Nar. Jungle, gonna be KSPL on that Gragas. In the mid lane, you have Ozora Becky on that Karma. And for the bottom duo, we have Cool Kitty on that Ashe ADC. And Superior on that Braum support.
Yes, and that will be the Bangkok Titans for the blue side. And on the red side, we have the Kuala Lumpur Hunters. Malaysia represent and make some noise. In the top lane, we have Intresso on the Echo. In the jungle, we have Sek on the Hecarim. In the mid lane, we have G4 on the Malzahar. And to sum up the bot lane, we have Lloyd for AD carry on the Jin. And what the Jess on the Tom Kench for support.
We are live on Facebook. We are live on YouTube. Where do you want us to be live once more? Tell us, viewers. sure share the stream link and let us come all together and watch this game. We have an interesting game one where both of the teams allowed each other to get their best picks, but of course, considering that composition, as we have mentioned, Bangkok Titans has the better scaling
Yes.
compared to Kuala Lumpur Hunters composition. And I'd say, like Kuala Lumpur Hunters, their elation to pick their best picks proved to or resulted in an awkward composition. Like, they paired a Karma, a Jean, plus for their mid laner,
Yes.
Syndra. Both are long range champs. More like, you could say, kind of an artillery
Yes,
related
that's
champs. And they paired that one with diving champ, with diving champs such as Elise and Echo. And it's like, whenever Echo and Elise dives, these long range champs had a hard time following up damage whenever those initiators dive.
Exactly. That would be like somewhat of a solo queue strategy, going
Yeah.
for champions that you're comfortable with and
Yes.
that you know you're powerful on. But then again, you could surely, let's say, like all players individually are skilled at the champions, but without the synergy, without thinking about the composition as a whole, then it pretty much wouldn't work, especially when you're going into a scenario such as the Garena Premier League, wherein the teams, you're just all binded together, knowing all the stops, knowing all the composition, knowing how to counter and maximize whatever errors, but hold that thought.
And here we go, devastating charge in one flash for What the Jizz to lick this Ash. This Ash is gone. He's in the belly, the stomach of What the Jizz, and it's gonna be Lloyd securing that kill once here now for this Jin ADC.
Very interesting right there for Bangkok Titans. I love the synergy between
Yeah.
Sec and What the Jets here because, sure, Kuala Lumpur Hunters, they tried to run from that, but Hecarim was able to give just enough time for Jets to proc his passive and devour
Yeah.
Cool Kitty right there that it just pretty much fell apart. But, Kuala Lumpur Hunters still can make a comeback in this 0-1 on this
On
score.
top of that devastating charge, Sek also uses Ghost. So it's a
I see.
very, very powerful initiate, making sure that the full stack from the Tam catch will connect, and after that, it's just a matter of devouring this Ash and serving it to the Jin.
Oh yes, that's gonna be some very delicious sushi served by What the Jess right there.
Ash flavor. Cold sushi, man.
There
The
we
Ice
go.
Queen.
Look
Yes.
at 13 Ghosts forced to make a recall after getting a lot of harass from Intresso right there.
Yes. It's actually a Project Ash sushi
Yes,
for that bottom lane.
that is a very expensive sushi right there.
Yeah. A very expensive first blood.
Yes.
Looking into the matchup, what about the mid lane? What are your insights for the Mazar and Karma match?
Well, it's very interesting because I feel like Ozora Vecchi, it kind of goes in favor for G4 for me, in my opinion, because Ozora Vecchi really needs to make sure that Malzahar's passive is down most of the time if she wants to force the harass, but let's see if that's going to push the right here. Then. There we go.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what Ozora Vecchi needs to continue to do, knowing that Malzahar has that passive up.
Yeah.
He needs to make sure that the passive goes down first before continuing the harass with the onslaught of skills, just as he exhibited right now.
That focus resolve is just irritating. And as you mentioned, the passive. Also, as I'm observing on this mid lane, Ozora Becky is carefully watching how G4 uses his cooldowns.
Exactly.
Whenever G4 uses the combo, the Call of the Void, Ozora Becky just go in with that focus resolve.
Exactly, and I gotta commend Ozora Vecchi right now. That's very well thought out. Really needs to monitor those cooldowns just so that you can make sure that you get the maximum damage.
But look at this in the top lane. Caspil's turn to turn the tide. Let's see though, Introso getting the turn hit from the Hyper Nair, and he gets tagged here by the belly of Caspil. The second kill in the game goes into the jungler of Kuala Lumpur Hunters.
Very interesting. I gotta say, Caspiel, somewhat of the right time to get 13 goals right now, because we have seen earlier that Intresso was going quite the aggro onto 13 goals right there. So I guess that kind of helps get 13 goals in a position where he can kind of go up against Intresso regardless of the heavy aggression that Intresso is putting on that Gnar right there.
Man, we are now under the 6-minute mark into our game. And the next Drake, actually Drakes are usually played out as Nip has mentioned during the 13 to 15-minute mark in the game, the first Drakes. Considering this Drake is the one of the tankiest. No, not one. It's the tankiest, second to the Elder Drake. Second to the Elder Drake. So right now, look at the damage coming in. And that's why I hate Karma. That guy, that girl is very irritating. So here comes Sek. Connects with the devastating chart. He has no ultimate, but Gan's gonna be a Karma getting ripped apart by that Hoekarim Stampage.
Very interesting, you know, Azora Becky, even with the ward down at the bottom bush in the mid lane there, still isn't enough to run away from the speed that Sek has on that Hecarim. So, you know, Sek is just gonna have a pretty good time, especially with that speed. And, you know, if Kuala Lumpur Hunters continue to slip into that, then Sek is gonna have a very easy time at getting those games in those lanes.
Yes, and good thing G4 didn't die after that engage. That's actually a clean win there in the mid lane by Bangkok Titans. You could see the aggression of Zora Becky here proving to be his end too. And then the Flourish will connect on Skull Kitty. A good steady ride on top of that unbreakable being done there by Superior. Also the last hit! Nice Devour being done by what the Jess, making sure that the fourth stock of Concussive Blow will not connect. Chrono Ship being used, one flash away for the side of Kuala Lumpur Hunters, rather for Bangkok Titans. And now here's another hunt engage over this bottom lane. What happened there? You can see Caspel now being gone. Superior getting the Devour. One last Winter Smile and a big win here by BKT. A 3-for-0 exchange, a triple kill for Lloyd. Sitting now on a 4-0-0 KDA.
That was a huge miscommunication coming from Kuala Lumpur Hunters right now. They had all the right elements going for them, but unfortunately, due to that miscoordination right down, 3 members going down to Bangkok Titans, and it just really puts Lloyd in a very good position. Knowing that Lloyd is one of the stronger cases.
Yes, no clean follow-up there from Intresso, and Sek didn't realize that he dug in too deep over the top lane tower dive.
So yes, as you know, that's very interesting for Bangkok Titans. You know, as I was saying, I feel like Lloyd is one of their stronger players. Lloyd has been around in the Garena Premier League.
Yeah.
Known for those his strong potential as an AD carry, and we're actually seeing that, you know, going 4-0, and he just didn't falter in that game from Kuala Lumpur Hunters. And with that fumble from Kuala Lumpur Hunters, Lloyd is just gonna have an excellent time on this chip.
I can imagine the next nerf on Karma. It will be a shorter range on Focus Resolve.
Oh.
That's what she needs! Rito, please!
I actually feel like it's the Jin that needs nerf. I mean, he's
Yeah.
a lot of damage. I feel like out of all the champions here in the Garena Premier League, he has the biggest win rate, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And it just goes to it's showing right now. Lloyd going 4-0, dealing an insane amount of damage. It's just going to deal a lot more damage going into that middle lane.
Oh, Enchanted Crystal Arrow being used here. What the Jess is quite tanky. There's a teleport now and another re-engage here done by BKT. But Kuala Lumpur Hunters will not fall back, will not falter. Interest in the backline puts the parallel convergence in, plus the Chrono Shift being able to bait out the members here of Kuala Lumpur Hunters. We are now in a 1-for-1 situation, prompting to become a 2-for-0 exchange as 13th Ghost gets killed here, gets picked off, and in the end, it became a 3-for-1 exchange. 3 members in exchange for the support here of Bangkok Titans.
You could totally see the momentum coming here from Bangkok Titans. You know, they just got a win off their first game.
Yeah.
And, you know, they're just totally, you could totally see the energy here. You know, they're just continuously making all the right moves, you know. Few errors, but still Kuala Lumpur Hunters, I feel like, is making the bigger errors here, which is why Bangkok Titans just continues to capitalize on those mistakes that Kuala Lumpur Hunters.
That peak there on the Tam Catch was really nice. It was really nice. Enchanted Crystal Arrow, point blank. We could understand that Tam Catch is tanky.
Yes,
but
true.
it's very likely that he will die, what the Jess on that kind of position. But the thing here is, Superior being aggressive, also trying to put the CC down on the Hecarim. And that's what punished them. They know that there's a teleport. They think they can still win because of the numbers advantage. But no, you have to consider what's going to dive onto you is an Echo. One of the sleepiest champions here in the league.
And I feel like this is somewhat worrying for the side of Kuala Lumpur Hunters. If they continue to make these miscalculations, they're just gonna continually get trumped by Bangkok Titans here. So Kuala Lumpur Hunters really has to be careful, or else Bangkok Titans is gonna continue to crush them and gain a significant lead going into that mid-lane game.
Yes, go 10-minute mark of the game with 11 kills, a distribution of a 3-8 in favor of Bangkok Titans. In this best of 5 series, they managed to snag up the victory over game 1. Looking into this game, the 8-0 Kog'Maw Lloyd back at game 1 is now sitting on a 5-0 Jin.
Very scary indeed,
Yes.
you know. As I was saying, the Jin is the champion in itself is a
10 minutes
beast.
into the game, he has the Yunmu's Ghostblade completed.
Oh, that is not gonna be good for Cool Kitty and Superior in the bot lane. They're just gonna struggle unless Caspiel and perhaps even 13 goes with the teleport response, although teleport is down right now. So they're just gonna have a very hard time making a comeback in that bot lane unless Kuala Lumpur Hunters shifts up the strategy a bit to make sure that they maintain relevance in this game. Otherwise, it's just gonna be very hard for Kuala Lumpur Hunters right here. And I feel like, you know, Bangkok Titans is looking really good in this game and in the series maybe. You know?
Yeah. Will we have another Bangkok Titans Saigon Jokers in the finals? Because right now, Saigon Jokers versus Vestigial. Compared to this matchup, Kuala Lumpur Hunters versus Bangkok Titans. Especially that Bangkok Titans over the summer split has given a kind of shaky performance, losing the throne of King of Sea to Saigon Jokers and actually losing to AEX enter day 1 of GPL. There's like the expectations from Bangkok Titans has been lowered, but entered day 2, they get those team fights really strong, even managing to snag off one victory away or one game away against Saigon Jokers.
And that's
Remember
actually,
that game?
Exactly, and that's not a bad, I'd say, storyline.
Yeah.
So, you know, you start off a little shaky and then slowly you build up the momentum, and it's ultimately leading to this moment right here.
Yeah.
And they're just performing beautifully so far.
Yes,
I
but the
really-
story is that game that won by Bangkok Titans against Saigon Jokers, is that just because Saigon Jokers has the I mean Bangkok Titans has the better composition? Because you have to take note, the composition of Saigon Jokers during that game was a Kog'Maw against Alessandra, who is not being stopped from picking off this Kog'Maw. That's a Casa Dean for the mid lane on G4, and that gets mitigated by Kog'Maw on the Saigon Joker side after picking up that Lich Bane. But after that one, there was the Lissandra, who's still continuously just catching the APC of Saigon Jokers. We will know. But for this case, Kuala Lumpur Hunters, Bangkok Titans, even though with Bangkok Titans securing game 1, it's still quite close. But
True.
for the next semi-final leg, Saigon Jokers versus Vestigial, I'm leaning more for the Saigon Jokers.
That's true, actually, because, you know, Vestigial has had somewhat of a shaky start going into the Garena Premier League, and they were expectations are pretty low
Yeah.
for Vestigial. But, you know, I'm personally a fan of the Singaporeans, so...
Ah!
But, you know, realistically, Saigon Jokers looking the better team going into that matchup going up against Vestigial. But I'm really hoping that Vestigial could pull together and maybe surprise everyone
So,
going into that game.
if that's the case, imagine we're gonna have the GPL 2016 Spring Finals. Saigon Jokers versus Bangkok Titans.
Yes.
It would be exciting to have
Sure.
Kuala Lumpur Hunters and Vestigial in the finals. New names. We don't know. Weird things are happening throughout the year, guys. CLG defeated TSM in the NALCS Spring Finals. CLG went to the Mid-Season Invitational Finals. KT reverse sweep SKT.
So maybe there's also somebody following their footsteps
Yeah.
right there.
See,
Somewhat of the same storyline.
Weird things has been happening over the summer stream. Even AEX defeating Imperium Pro Team.
Exactly. And I feel like this goes to show how much all of the teams are evolving. You know, we've had these strong teams, but, you know, it's somewhat of the new bloods making their name and starting the veterans to move over. We want to make ourselves present and known in the scene. But nonetheless, here we go, back into the game between Kuala Lumpur Hunters and Bangkok Titans right here. 3-8 on our scoreboard with a 2,000 goal difference in favor of Bangkok Titans right here.
I wonder, G4 didn't bought the Negatron Cloak. into this mid lane matchup because that's what I'd recommend. I know he needs the mana, but of course the blue buff will be given unto him. I know he also has the burst potential. But let's see. With this kind of aggressive itemization, directly building Morello Nomicon instead of the magic resist from the Negatron. Let's see. There we go. The aggression, ladies and gentlemen. One flash in on top of that. Nether Grasp. Plus, you know, 2 ultimates being used onto Uzora Becky, making sure that Bangkok Titans has the edge in terms of kills against Kuala Lumpur Hunters. What a nice combo there in the mid league.
Very interesting here, you know. I felt like Uzora Becky was performing so beautifully in the first few minutes of the game. But again, Bangkok Titans, it's the teamwork that really helps everybody pull together.
Yeah.
That G4 now is just in a huge lead against Karma, and building that Morello Nomicon, I feel like G4 will benefit in the sense that Karma won't be able to keep up with the damage output because he'll be able to have enough cooldown to pull out so many void links to play. So very interesting how that'll play out. But
Oh, Bangkok's Titans initiate with Sek has been really on point. What the Jess once again. What are you doing here, man? Flashing in. It's kind of very risky. Also kind of awkward. How will you pull off a full combo on that Ashe? I could understand one link that you could easily pull off 2 combos of the Tampkage passive to devour easily the Ashe, but without any first stack, flashing in would be very dangerous. But that push away the bottom duo of Kuala Lumpur's here over this bottom lane, and I think Lloyd has his eyes set on destroying this outer bottom lane turret.
And there we go, G4 now on this Morello Nomicon. And it's already showing just how Uzora Becky is somewhat struggling now that G4 has access to that cooldown side, which allows him much more of a consistent release of his skills. And again, combine that with the void links, you know, Uzora Becky taking, if you noticed earlier, he was taking quite a substantial amount of damage to the point that he isn't able to out-damage G4 now that he has the cooldown, now that he has access to those abilities, and now that he could just continue to release those void links continuously onto Uzora Becky, which will overwhelm him in that mid lane.
Man, 1 minute away before the 15-minute mark of the game. And is this GPL, are they initiating on the Dragon? Kind of an awkward call here being done by Kuala Lumpur Hunters. They know that Hecarim is in range. His Onslaught of Shadows is also off, plus the Tampkage, 2 tanky front lines. But Lloyd is wiser. He's gonna settle for this bottom lane. Actually, with just one hit, he can destroy the outer bottom lane.
I feel like Kuala Lumpur Hunters, instead of, that was very awkward if they were considered to go for the Dragon. I feel like they should have gone for that Rift Cutlery instead.
Yeah.
Knowing that in terms of who's in the lead right now, you know, Bangkok Titans does have a bit more control in this game.
Yeah.
But they should be, instead of, you know,
the camp from Sek in the mid lane against Uzora Becky. This is just like game 1 this time, using a Hecarim instead of a Gragas, and wow, 4 members are transitioning into this mid lane. Will they go for a push? You can see how the bottom lane is already kept in check too by the bottom duo here by BKT. Again, that turret of Kuala Lumpur Hunter in the bottom lane is just an illusion.
Exactly. I gotta say, very well coordinated between Sek and G4 by getting that kill onto Uzora Becky right now. Because if you notice, G4 held his ult up until the last minute. You know, he waited for Sek to get that knockback on Sek going down to the members of Kuala Lumpur. A little bit too deep there.
Yes, definitely. That's a bad positioning there by Sek, and a good call. He did not expect the Ashe being there. He's only expecting the mid laner, maybe a Karma or he would know. But of course, the bottom duo, wow.
Still, that won't be enough for Cool Kitty's superior team. So, kinda going even with Lloyd right there. Because still, Lloyd sitting on 5 and CS is up as well for Lloyd. So, and if you're gonna look at the item
Oh
difference
my
as well,
god, look at this Lloyd being got out. They know members of Kuala Lumpur Hunters are gonna collapse onto him. So Lloyd, he knows there's no vision onto him. He's gonna gonna lay down the Guardian Call. Will damage, the support will be gone. Now, 13 goes in on the chase onto Lloyd. One less Hyper, gets the exhaust, he gets killed here. Intresso puts in the Chrono Shift as he tries to hustle away the jungler and the ADC of Kuala Lumpur Hunters. But this is 3 members gone for Kuala Lumpur Hunters, and Bangkok Titans is just asserting their lead over this red side jungle of Kuala Lumpur Hunters.
Kuala Lumpur Hunters looking out of form in this game. It's somewhat interesting because when the first game they went fairly even, but now they somewhat have lost their momentum going into game 2, and this is somewhat worrying for them, knowing that they still have, this is a best of 5. Bangkok Titans already with 1 win, looking pretty good to actually get this game as well if Kuala Lumpur does not pick up the slack. So it's very, very worrying for the representatives from Malaysia here.
I mean, look at Hekarim. Boots of Swiftness directly into Trinity Force.
Yes.
Not even building the jungle item.
Exactly.
Wow.
Interesting.
1, 2, 6.
Build there from, but then again, if you're gonna look at it,
I mean, if you have this kind of itemization, you're gonna go for aggression on the lanes,
True.
not the farming itself.
exactly. And I feel like Bangkok Titans for second particular, he doesn't really need to clear out as much jungles anymore because he does have that gank presence. He has that dominance going into those lanes. So he kind of make for the lack of jungling from Sek, he makes up by that continued pressure he puts onto these lanes here. But Lloyd,
Yeah, and Lloyd's sidestep won't be enough. You can see 13 goes, gonna flash in to put in Dunnar. No, cooldowns are now up for this support and top laner of Kuala Lumpur Hunters. And here comes Sek. Here comes the raid train, ladies and gentlemen. Sek with the Trinity Force puts the Reaper onto Superior. And a deadly flourish will tag the enemy support. Picks! Consecutive picks being done here by Bangkok Titans. Good thing there's the explosive gas to stop the engage here of Bangkok Titans. 4-15, ladies and gentlemen, 11k gold lead on top of that. That is a 7k gold lead. Man, this is just too much for Kuala Lumpur Hunters now.
This is a very bad position for Kuala Lumpur Hunters. I mean, if I were their position, the morale would be pretty low at this point.
Yeah.
Knowing that Bangkok Titans maintain the momentum that they had from game 1. They're just looking pretty good and they're feeling good. We're in 16 on that scoreboard, and that'll be 17 now for Bangkok Titans right there.
Yeah, Caspel, what are you doing? Okay, he has the backup coming in from 13 Ghosts and also Superior. Will they go for the chase? Take note that Caspel has no explosive cast, and the cooldowns are all down actually for the side of Bangkok Titans, so that will stop them. At the very least, they have to leave this top lane outer turret. Let's see if 13 goes along with the jungler will be able to push this outer top lane turret.
I'm very worried.
Oh my god, yeah. Caspel will be gone. Just like that. The ultimate are really fatal. The ultimates from Bangkok Titans are just as fatal against Kuala Lumpur Hunters members. Actually, I want to mention that whenever the Nether Grasp of Malzar is up, one member of Kuala Lumpur Hunters is sure to die.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and we've been seeing that consistently happening, which is no question there as G4 is now 7-0-3.
Yeah, man.
And
Actually, it all started when Kuala Lumpur Hunters tried to catch G4.
exactly, and they're just paying the price here. They just can't seem to get their groove back in this game.
Yeah.
And I'm just very worried for them, knowing that it's a best of 5. There's just more games ahead, and unless they rally together and get the morale back, Bangkok Titans is just gonna have a really good time in this series right here. And who knows, possibly make it into the finals should Kuala Lumpur Hunters continue to falter in this game and in this series.
The problem about their composition is they against an aggressive composition. Hekarim, especially building Trinity Force first. They cannot really play passive. And right now, if they want to get back into this game, they have to turtle their way. Actually, Ashe is a good farm, but you want Ashe to ramp up. Of course, one thing that Kuala Lumpur Hunters can do is make that pick. But look at that, whenever Bangkok Titans tries to bait out the members of Kuala Lumpur Hunters, Hekarim will just flank from the side. Outlands of Shadows with 3 members gone in this top lane. It's just Sek sweeping the floor with a Reaper map.
Exactly, that Hekarim Zek especially. Oh, hold that thought. He is not.
Yeah, he's
yet.
gonna go for the chase, but of course that is a karma. He can, buy with the heck in terms of movement speed. But right now, Kuala Lumpur Hunters, it's like they cannot even go out of their base.
Exactly. And as you've been saying, the thing that Kuala Lumpur Hunters should have been potentially doing to get back into the season.
Oh!
Yikes!
Teleport from Intreso. Of course, the teleport. There's the nerf on the teleport. But you could see how G4 could solo combo. 13 goes here. Even letting this on the small NAR 4. But here, this is gonna be big for Bangkok Hunters. Being methodical with this game, they're gonna take on this Baron buff. It will be a Pixie Baron buff, even with superior in range. I think they cannot engage this one, even though What the Jess is slow. What the Jess has no flash, but you could see Lloyd, he's in range. Lloyd, he activated the curtain call, I think. It's on cooldown. What is this?
I think he was supposed to, but knowing that
Yeah.
the karma was there, kind of deal a bit of trouble there. He just kind of opted to back off instead and let What the Jet
Yeah.
sacrifice
So
himself there.
whenever you activate the curtain call, then you canceled it. It will be refund. I see. Let's have observe on this one because he now activates this time, putting on the bullets onto the members of Kuala Lumpur Hunters. You have to take note, Bangkok Tyrants has the Baron buff. They can go for the chase here, but this time no sec to flank on the side. It's the classic combo of Bangkok Titans composition. Bait members of Kuala Lumpur Hunters, whenever they took a mistake, bad step forward, they take the step forward, it's gonna be sec initiating on the side.
Or I think earlier it was actually just the curtain call being on last minute cooldown.
Yeah.
I wasn't able to activate it right away. So, but nonetheless, 6 and 22 doesn't really matter for the case of Bangkok Titans because they just have such a huge lead going up against Kuala Lumpur Hunters. And as you were saying earlier, if you're gonna look at ways as to how Kuala Lumpur Hunters can make a comeback from this, the only thing would be to kind of turtle and wait for the right moment to get small pickup. But the problem here is that Bangkok Titans just has a hugely aggressive composition here that turtling wouldn't really matter because they have all the right tools to go in on them that the turtle would just be pretty useless that. And with this Baron especially,
Yeah.
Bangkok Titans just gonna have a really good time pulling off the aggressive strat and maximizing the aggressiveness of this composition here.
Yes, actually, this is one good point for Kuala Lumpur Hunters. Right now, the composition of Bangkok Titans, even though they have the Baron buff, even though they have this big lead, composition-wise, it's kind of awkward. They don't have the proper range to siege the inhibitor turrets of Kuala Lumpur Hunters. So they need once again to lure away members of Kuala Lumpur Hunters outside of their base and make those picks. Right now, Jin has a good range, but he has an awkward kit actually to pull up a siege compared to a Tristana,
True.
compared to Caitlyn, and even compared to an Ashe. So this is the good thing. Kuala Lumpur Hunters could focus on wave clearing and stall the game, given that Bangkok Titans has an awkward composition to go for these inhibitor turrets. But Sek just solo Cool Kitty on this inner or rather mid lane inhibitor turret, and that goes Bangkok Titans going to initiate on the remaining members here. Only 2 members are standing for the side of Kuala Lumpur Hunters. 13 goes and Ozora Becky. That is, but this is massive. 3 members gone. They can go for any push here now. Wow. Yeah, this is a very shaky game compared to the game 1 of Kuala Lumpur Hunters. They really need to step up, especially that if Bangkok Titans take this victory, we have a game point now, game 3. Yeah, and Bangkok Titans, they look for a clean 3-0 sweep. And when we mention 3-0 sweep, we have KT reverse sweeping SKT.
And there we go, you know, the representatives from Thailand clearly do not want to disappoint and are really hungry to get back into the finals for the Garena Premier League and to maybe get revenge on the Saigon Jokers if they do manage to clean this up against Kuala Lumpur Hunters here. And again, as we were saying, Kuala Lumpur Hunters is just very shaky. From game 1, they were actually playing fairly decent in my opinion. No, not exactly at their greatest, but it's suffice to say decent. But going into this game, I'm just not seeing that same fervor that they had. And I'm just very worried for them going in this best of 5 at this point, because if they can't rally together, then Bangkok Titans is gonna look really good.
Yeah, man. Again, well, with this big lead, you could see how Bangkok Titans struggle to finish the game. I'd say struggle because they're quite lacking in terms of siege. But if ever they manage to make this pick, especially if Cool Kitty is left unguarded, even Sek would just dive in and kill this Ash. Look at this, he's like one-hitting the Ash, but Sek is being overtly aggressive this time. The main initiator of Bangkok Titans gun. Deadly Flur's connected at the 13th goes, pulls up the Gnar, ults onto the Echo, but he's still gone. Ozora Becky though managed to destroy G4. So 2 members. The first time that Kuala Lumpur Hunters has the lead in terms of kill for a team fight against Bangkok Titans. Wow, so you can see how awkward this is for Bangkok Titans. They're really having a hard time closing this game. They cannot move as one unit near the inhibitor turret. But, you know, it's Sek being baited in to try to catch Cool Kitty, failing that one, getting punished, and along with his teammates too. But look at this. It's gonna be another juicy objective available on the map. Infernal Drake.
Oh yes.
And whenever team fights happen outside the base or far from the base of Kuala Lumpur Hunters, it is Bangkok Titans that is set to win those team fights.
Exactly. And Kuala Lumpur Hunters, I feel like, in a way, it's kind of okay what they're doing here, you know, knowing that Bangkok Titans will really push as hard into the base, so that they're just kind of turtling at this point. And I guess it's good because at least it kind of buys them some time to get back some relevance into this game.
The damage from Lloyd.
And almost going down there to Bangkok Titans there, but yeah, I guess if Kuala Lumpur Hunters manages to fend off Bangkok Titans from sieging into the base, then they might have a fairly decent chance at coming back, but I'm not sure to what extent, because you cannot underestimate that the lead that Bangkok Titans has right now, 8 and 20 on that scoreboard. Looking at all the champions, no particular negative. Everybody just having a fairly good amount of kills, and especially the carries here, you know, 7-2 for G4 on that Malzahar, and 9-0-7 for Lloyd right there on that Jhin. So I feel like Bangkok Titans should start figuring out how they're going to get some sieges here. Otherwise, KLH is just but ooh!
And look at this. Whenever somebody gets stuck by the nether gasp, you're sure to die. That is the supposed tank of Kuala Lumpur Hunters. Gone on one full combo. Of course, Mazar, yes. And yes, once again, whenever GC objective spawns into the rift, it is Bangkok Titans that is set to win that one. Enchanted Crystal Arrow missing. Sek will go for the back line. He gets guided here by Cool Kitty. Cool Kitty, look at this! Nobody's trying to catch him! And it's gonna be Lloyd when it comes to hit rates. Cool Kitty has the edge against Lloyd. Now they are steadily catching up into the back line of Bangkok Titans. But look at G4, of course, he has no teleport. He only has the ghost. So he's gonna go for the push along with his Void Links. But ladies and gentlemen, the first team fight wonder by Kuala Lumpur Hunters in this game. They're still at it.
I feel like Kuala Lumpur can kind of learn from that clash that happened right there in order to set some conditions. Because for Bangkok Titans, I feel like why their composition, why they've been able to dominate from early to mid and a little bit here in the late game, although they're struggling now in the late game, is because of that pseudo-wombo combo that they have. You know, if they get the chain from the Echo, the Hecarim, the hold from the Malzahar, and the top catch to kind of kill as well, then that's where the magic happens. That's how they win those clashes. But without G4 in that clash right there, that's where they kind of fell apart, knowing that they lacked that wombo combo. They continued CC, which is why Lloyd was able to use that as much damage as there. But
yes, and G4, after losing the passive, he's gonna put a combo onto the support here of Kuala Lumpur Hunters. Gaspel gets so low, but 4 members will collapse onto him. Explosive gas will result to 2 members advancing, 2 members retreating, and wow, Abyssal Voyage here. They're at it still. It's gonna be what? Just delivering Intreso on 13th Ghost, receiving the the Time Winder here, plus the Deadly Flurries puts the CC on the 13th Ghost. Intreso is now dominating. 4 members here of Kuala Lumpur is now gone, and I think they are set to finish this game. Bangkok Titans, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my goodness. Very well played, Bangkok Titans. They already have the Baron. Wait, I believe the Baron is down already, but still, they have all the siege potential. So that's what they needed. They needed that loophole to get into their base as they were struggling with earlier. But now, with the members of Kuala Lumpur Hunters down, they'll just get these objectives left and right. Inhibitors down from all sides of all lanes, actually, for the side of Kuala Lumpur Hunters. And at this point, they're just going to have a very hard time. If not, it's just virtually impossible at this point, unless they can get some kind of pick-off.
Yeah, I mean, lots of stuff here. All for the taking of Bangkok Titans. Infernal Drake, Baron buff. All inhibitors are gone. Only the Nexus turret. Bangkok Titans can now take a team fight in the base of Kuala Lumpur Hunters.
And as you were saying earlier, that was the struggle that Bangkok Titans was having earlier. They couldn't get into the base. But now that all the inhibitors are down, they can go all out in the base right away. And it's just going to look very bad for Kuala Lumpur. Here we go. Fair enough once again. Bangkok Titans really wanting this to close off the Kuala. Question is, will Kuala Lumpur Hunters be able to...
Oh no, they cannot take this team fight. Look at that, Ozora Becky, rather G4, not hesitating after the third puts in the nether grass on Ozora Becky. Here comes the curtain call. No 13 goes is trying to tag Lloyd here, and G4 is not guiding his ADC. The Mega Gnar ult being done by 13 goes. 13 goes going massive in the back line of Bangkok Titans, but still, there's another damage dealer here for the side of Bangkok Titans. Sec, ladies and gentlemen, paired with Intresso. On the chase on Caspiel, that stopped the Baron taking here by Bangkok Titans. Abyssal Void tries to corner Caspiel. Intresso not in range to connect that face dive. And also the Baron roll will be enough to peel against the members. Maybe no. Sec, no. Devastating charge. No, he won't. No, he won't. No, he won't.
But they could actually just, they're going to go up, just go straight.
Yeah, look at this. Because of that skirmish in the Baron, that buys enough time for this, enhanced and empowered minions to take and destroy this Nexus turrets, even with just 3 members. Bangkok Titans alone, maybe with Sec alone, could finish this game. And yes, that is the Nexus turret gone. Ladies and gentlemen, for Game 2, it's going to be Bangkok Titans taking on the victory against Kuala Lumpur Hunters.
Oh my goodness, the momentum from Bangkok Titans right there. They're just looking really good, and they might... If I were them, I'd feel pretty good about my chances right now. Going 2-0, knowing that as far as the psychology of the teams, Kuala Lumpur Hunters a bit more lower in the morale department there. And going into Game 3, Kuala Lumpur Hunters really needs to rally. But nonetheless, just for Game 2, very beautifully played by Bangkok Titans here.
If you look at the end game screen here, what are your insights there, Coach?
So, I guess the statistics pretty much speak for
Look
itself.
at the lead, man.
The lead that Bangkok Titans was able to establish, that, again, like you said earlier, the only saving grace that Kuala Lumpur Hunters had at that point was to just maintain that base so that they could slowly make their way back. But the problem was they got caught up in that clash right there.
Yeah, and Sec could snowball into a late game carry in such a way that he can solo the Ashe. If he managed to connect the Ashe using a Ghost or even any form of engage, Onslaught of Shadows, Ghost, Devastating Charge, whenever his Rip tries to his Rip managed to reach the Ashe, that's it. That's it for the ADC of Kuala Lumpur.
And look at the damage here. G4 and Lloyd dealing an insane amount of damage. And it's not just Lloyd. Everybody dealing, just contributing to damage here. And I guess that's what makes Bangkok Titans' composition very well-rounded here. Everybody was able to dish out a significant amount of damage, and ultimately it just really led in their favor. They played the composition to their right points. They knew the win conditions. Very well played by Bangkok Titans right there.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for those insights, Coach Arctic. That is Game 2 of this best of 5 series between Kuala Lumpur Hunters versus Bangkok Titans, wherein Bangkok Titans once again took the victory. That means we reach Game 1. Game 3, ladies and gentlemen. Bangkok Titans could potentially win and proceed directly into the finals of GPL 2016 Summer. We have been your shoutcasters for that game. I am Shibu with 1 for Ana, and with me is of course Coach Arctic of Morgan's La Liga Pilipinas. We have Game 3 to put, ladies and gentlemen. Guys, we'll see you. Just hold on to your screens. Rather for Bangkok Titans, and now here's another 100 gauge over this bottom lane. What happened there? You can see Caspiel now being gun superior, getting the devour. One last Winter Spire and a big win here. what the Jess is quite tanky. There's a teleport now and another re-engage here done by BKT. But Kuala Lumpur Hunters will not fall back, will not falter. Interest in the backline puts the parallel convergence in, plus the Chrono Shift being able to bait out the members here of Kuala Lumpur Hunters. We are now in a 1-for-1 situation, prompting to become a 2-for-0 exchange as 13 Ghost gets killed here.
Pretty good, and they're feeling good. And 16 on that scoreboard, and that'll be 17 now for Bangkok Titans.
At whenever Bangkok Titans tries to bait out the members of Kuala Lumpur Hunters, Hecarim will just flank up the side on lots of shadows with 3 members. This is like one hitting dash, but Sek is being overtly aggressive this time. The main initiator of Bangkok Titans gun. Deadly Flur's connected to the 13th Ghost. Pulls up the Nar, ult onto the Echo, but he's still gone. Ozora Becky though managed to destroy G4. So 2 members. The first time that Kuala Lumpur, nobody's trying to catch him, and it's gonna be Lloyd when it comes to hit rates. Cool Kitty has the edge against Lloyd. Now they are steadily catching up into the backline of Bangkok Titans. But look at G4, of course he has no teleport, he only has the Ghost, so he's gonna go for the push.